Good evening. Welcome to Friendship Radio and to the Grand March Through Life. This is your host, James Huey, facilitator of the Friendship Personal Retreat Program here in Galveston and on ships cruising seas throughout the world. Offering the gift of listening hospitality, I invite you to join me here on KGBC, Friendship Radio for Southeast Texas, as we explore topics to enrich the quality of your life. Power for positive living and friendship. How does one go about finding and selecting the whole idea of a counselor or a psychotherapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a pastoral counselor or a social worker? There seems to be a lot of confusion about how to go about selecting and finding someone. If you've made a decision that you are interested in talking things out with someone, an objective outsider, someone other than family, someone other than friends. And one of the ways in which we encourage people is to say, we all need someone to talk to. No time in our life is guaranteed to be free of stress. But sometimes whenever we are in a period of stress, or we just need someone to listen to us or someone to clarify what you and I would be thinking about or what we would be feeling. Well, one of the ways to do that is to seek an outside source. Now, sometimes friends are available, but sometimes friends may be available and willing, but may not have the expertise or the background. And so we need someone who's a little more objective. Well, family is a great sounding board, but some people find that family tend to offer advice. They tend to have strong opinions about some things. And so there is a desire to find someone outside. But how do you go about doing it? And this is one of those questions that keeps coming to me. And I thought, well, this would be a good chance to go ahead and start that this evening. Well, the first thing I would suggest to you is treat the search for a counselor, any type of counseling service, just like you would any other professional service. If you're going to be searching for a physician, if you're searching for an accountant, whether you're searching for someone who is skilled in their craft, such as a mechanic, you would be looking for someone who is competent to do the kind of service that you are looking for. So the first thing I would say is if you're looking for the idea of a counselor, first consider what in the world are you looking for? Try to clarify in your own mind what in the world do you want from this counselor. Are you looking for a friend? Are you looking for someone who is going to treat a particular problem? Or do you have some kind of nebulous anxieties or stresses that maybe you can't even put your finger on very clearly, but something down in your inner spirit, your inner God just kind of makes you want to say, I need to share it. There's some kind of emptiness or there's some kind of pain. I need to find someone to share this with. So clarify in your own mind what you're seeking. That helps when you go out and really do the process of finding a counselor. And I do encourage it when I say shop around for a counselor. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Do shop around because you are a person who is seeking a service, a very personal service. And it is up to you to try and get the best service that you can find. Make inquiries. Check yellow pages. Check referral organizations. Check recommendations from friends, from families. Most people are very eager to share their opinion of someone and their service. So feel free to inquire. Now, of course, once you get someone's recommendation, a note of caution, of course, comes to my mind right away. And that is, say, for example, you came to me and I said, I'm looking forward to finding someone who will help me with this particular concern. And you say, well, I always found talking with X was great. The thing I always need to remember is that while you were very infatuated and attracted and had a great deal of benefit from X, X may relate to you differently than X relates to me. So always take recommendations as guidance, as input, something for you to consider. But once again, I encourage, like we do each week here, we try to encourage and recognize that you are the final arbitrator of your life. You are the one that will be making decisions on what is important to you. And when you make decisions, of course, you also take the responsibilities that go with those. So say you're defining and you've done some shopping around, you've made inquiries, you've done recommendations, and you come across a particular candidate. Well, then we start the process just as though we would any other service again. We evaluate the qualities and the services that the person is offering. If you were to be interested in a vehicle, you would go and probably do a general review of new cars. You may narrow it down to a Honda or a Chevrolet or something of this type. Then you start focusing on dealers who handle this. Once you've kind of focused on what you are looking for, then you can clarify that. Be very conscious. And, so psychologists, sometimes we are like the type who want to get infatuated with someone's problem, someone's concern, someone's issues. And yet the real bottom line of you and any kind of therapeutic relationship is you and the personality of the potential counselor. I mean, the real bottom line is this someone that you like? Do you feel comfortable with this person? Is this someone that you trust? Because after all, you're going to be sharing some very important aspects of yourself, who you are, things that make you the unique and delightfully special person that you are. So trust your instincts. Trust your feelings. Do you like the person? Are you comfortable with them? And that has to be a very important cornerstone before one either gets into any other area. There are other characteristics that you can consider, and these vary from person to person. For example, age. Some people feel much more comfortable with a, quote, more mature or older person. Some people like someone who is younger and more energetic and, quote, fresh out of school or has a different perspective. Some people prefer someone similar in age. Gender is important to some people. Some people like him female. Maybe a woman feels more comfortable talking to another woman, or she maybe feel more comfortable talking to a man. So gender could be an important issue. Marital status. For example, if you are interested in marriage counseling, it may be important to you to know the marital status of the therapist. Some people feel very strongly that only a married person could possibly understand the issues that go on in a marital relationship. I personally don't believe that, but there are people who feel that, and they feel it very strongly. And I think those are things that have to be there that are important. For example, there are people who would choose a pediatrician, but they insist that the pediatrician has children. They do not want a single, or they would not want a pediatrician who's married but has no children. So you have to clarify in your own mind, what are you looking for? What do you feel okay with? Some people look for background, an experience that is important to them, education and training. Some people will want to, for example, choose only the doctoral level, someone who has had a great deal of experience and training seminars and courses and a great deal of formal education. Other people may just say, I don't care anything about those credentials. I'm more interested in, has the person experienced life? Have they really gone and lived things that are important? So when you look at a person, feel very comfortable and ask. In other words, you would go in and say to your car mechanic and say, have you ever worked on this kind of car before? Well, if you have a particular issue or a particular concern, feel free to ask. Have you had training in handling this particular issue? After all, remember, this is your life that you are going to share with the person. So it's very, very worthwhile to be able to come up and ask these questions. Another issue that frequently helps people decide in the area of selecting a counselor is the directed versus internal growth control. Are you looking for someone who's going to tell you how to do it? The 7 quick ways of curing depression. Do you want someone who is going to take charge of the counseling session and give you the answer you're seeking? Or do you tend to be like myself, and at the other end of the continuum, which is believing that all answers come from within, not from without, but from within, and it is my responsibility, in my opinion anyway, to create an atmosphere where you can find the answers to your concerns. But that is important, because if you're an internal person and you go to a directed person, there's going to be a conflict. And if you go to someone like me and you want me to give you how to live your life, you're going to be very disappointed. So those would be things that you would want to choose. And of course, areas of specialty: marriage, drug abuse, insomnia, depression, family, grief, any number of issues. You would want to find someone who specializes in your concern. And there are people who can specialize in a number of concerns or a number of areas, but if your issue is very focused, you may just want to ask, is this an area in which you have your expertise? Then, of course, there's the cost. Does the potential counselor accept insurance? Do they have a sliding fee, or is it a set fee that you pay so much regardless of your income? Will they accept your insurance, your health insurance? And of course, the bottom line is, are you willing to invest? One of the real sad things is that so often in our culture, we're willing to invest our financial resources into material things. And it's sometimes difficult for us to be able to feel comfortable, to be able to be willing to invest those financial resources in ourselves as people. And so the question is, am I willing to invest the resources in order to meet with this person, take the time? In other words, not only the financial resources, but the time resource. Do I value myself enough to do this? Because there are some people who will only seek counseling if it's free. If they have to pay for it, they're not willing to do so. They'll go and invest it in their car faster than they will in themselves. So that's a question. Always feel free to inquire about trial sessions. Always feel free. After all, this is an issue that is important to you. Be willing to give a trial session. Talk with the person. Say, I'd like to give it a try and see how it goes. I can't imagine someone buying a car and never driving it. Well, I can't imagine you're being willing and excited and willing to invest yourself emotionally with someone and not be willing to take a trial session. Do they do referrals if something doesn't work out? Do they feel comfortable? I had one of the people on the ship ask me, well, I would feel embarrassed. I wouldn't want to hurt their feelings. And I would say, well, almost any professional, and I speak as one, who is going to be hurt by your making a decision to go see someone else, I have doubts as to whether they should be in this profession. I really believe that so. We're human, yes, but our profession is to take care and meet your needs first. That is our ultimate goal. And of course, the very bottom and probably the most important question, other than do you like them and defining what in the world you're seeking, is can the counselor meet your needs? You are not there to meet the counselor's needs. And if you are, there's an unhealthy relationship going on. But can the counselor meet your needs? After you've clarified what you need, what you're seeking, can this person do and meet that task? That is the bottom and deciding factor. Once you have combined all of this, then hopefully you can make an intelligent consumer choice on finding a counselor or helping someone in your family or a friend be able to make an intelligent choice on finding a counselor or psychotherapist.